I think it's so important for people to have confidence in you, whether that's your own staff or the patients. And they need to have confidence in you that they're safe. People having trust and confidence in me, it's not a responsibility that I take lightly.
You're with The Capitalist Sage, a twice-a-month podcast that seeks out entrepreneurs and experts that speak to the real-world life of doing business for their sage advice. Now, with your hosts, Karl Barham and Rico Figliolini.
Welcome to The Capitalist Sage podcast. We're here to bring you advice and tips from seasoned pros and experts to help you improve your business. I'm Karl Barham with Transworld Business Advisor, and my co-host is Rico Figliolini with Mighty Rockets Digital Marketing and the publisher of the Peachtree Corners magazine. Hey, Rico, how you doing today?
Hey, Karl. Very good. Hope you guys are well.
Good. We're doing well. It's Friday, so we're getting into the weekend, and we have a bonus episode of the podcast today. But first, why don't we introduce our sponsors?
Sure. So our lead sponsor is Hargrave Fiber. Hargrave Fiber is a large Southeast company providing fiber optic solutions to small businesses and large enterprise businesses, as well as bundle services and even tools like Smart Office that helps with teleworking, helps with companies and their employees either on-site or off-site. So they're a big partner with businesses as well as the communities they're in, like here in Peachtree Corners. They're involved with Curiosity Lab at Peachtree Corners, with the city, with a lot of organizations like Atlanta Tech Park. They've been a sponsor of the Cyber Health Tech event that just recently happened. So they're involved in the community. They're not the cable guy. They're the company that provides real good service to you, and they are right in your community. So check them out, hargravefiber.com or hargrave.com/business, and you'll be able to see what they can do for you. And that's
Fabulous. Fabulous. Well, fiber optics and everyone that's doing all this homeschooling, and even as we're broadcasting virtually, it's becoming a critical part of everybody's life. So please do check out Hargrave Fiber if you need fiber optic and internet service in the Peachtree Corner and surrounding areas. Today, we're continuing in our series talking to local business owners that are reopened. They're operating their businesses and being successful in navigating, keeping people safe, yet still providing the services that they can. And today, we're honored to have as our guest Dr. Shyn, the owner of Link Dental Care right here in Peachtree Corners in Gwinnett County. And he'll talk to us a little bit about how he's been navigating his business and his team and his clients through the COVID-19 pandemic, from before, when it happened, and through the reopening, and how keeping people safe, and just, being a small business owner in a community, helping us serve the clients. Thank you, Dr. Shyn. Why don't you start off by introducing yourself to everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. Before I say anything, I want to say, Rico, it's an honor to be on a podcast with our very own Joe Rogan of Peachtree Corners.
Yeah, I only wish.
Yeah, but my name is Aristo Shyn. I'm the owner of Link Dental Care in Peachtree Corners. We're currently in our 8th year of business, and we offer comprehensive dentistry to our patients, meaning that we're ready for your routine dental cleaning and fillings, all the way to more involved procedures having to do with cosmetic or implant dentistry. As far as a little bit about myself, I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, grew up in Alaska pursuing a golf career, and then moved to Florida to finish my dental training. So luckily, my dentistry turned out better than my short game, and I've been in Georgia since 2012. And, as it says on my bio on the website, I am very happy to be away from grizzly bears and hurricanes.
That's fabulous. So since you came to Georgia, what made you think of opening a practice here in the Peachtree Corner area of Georgia?
Well, I was looking to go into private practice in the Metro Atlanta area. I kind of lucked out, ending up in Peachtree Corners. It turned out to be a good move. I love the area, and for me personally, I had to get out of corporate dentistry and start my own private practice.
Oh. What are some of the things that you've enjoyed about private practice? Things that have been that you've liked about that?
Well, you have autonomy. You're able to offer your own set of standards and define your standard of care. And, it does come with, responsibilities and some stress, as I think all business owners experienced this year. But, for me, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, that's fabulous. I find that with a lot of small business owners, that there is a freedom and it's also fulfilling because you can be more connected into your community very often here locally when you're small business owners. And I think a lot of people like that, being able to support small businesses. Well, this year has been a really tough year for small business owners. But I'm curious, when did you first hear about COVID-19? And what were your first thoughts when you started hearing about it and how it might impact you and your clients and your business?
Well, I mean, this year is a bit of a blur, but I think we first heard about it. I first heard about it early in the year, maybe January, February, and I didn't really put much, thought into it. And then it became a very real situation very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I think we're still on a roller coaster. I'm not sure if this ride is over yet. But overall, I'm very thankful to be working, thankful to have a staff so well prepared, and very thankful to our patients who have been some of the most loyal people you can ask for.
I've got several family members that work in healthcare and hospitals and different. And I remember early on, there was a lot of guidance through the CDC and other public health services to help them be prepared to protect themselves and their clients. I was wondering, what were some of the things as you started to learn about it that you had to do differently to keep yourself and your employees safe as well as your clients?
Well, we've expanded on protocols that we've already had in place. I mean, us being a healthcare setting, a medical setting, we were already familiar with, OSHA guidelines. But, in addition to that, we have modified how patients check in, for example. Your parking lot is the new reception room, and we've taken out, most of the chairs in our reception area. We've taken out all magazines. We've taken temperatures for everyone that's walked in. We have sneeze guards in the reception area. We have, I forget how many air purifiers we've installed, but we've installed a bunch of them. We've been monitoring how many people are in the practice at one time. So we've set a cap on maximum capacity. We've installed high-speed suction systems and all additional high-speed suction systems in all operatories. Disinfectants all over the place, and obviously the PPE that everyone's talking about. We lucked out a little bit with PPE, so I think I'm pretty sure I left out a few items, but that's what's been happening.
Just for transparency's sake, I am a patient of Dr. Shyn's, just recent. Although my family has been going to Dr. Shyn for a little while, so I can attest to some of the things that Dr. Shyn is saying. So I walk in, I have to call, before I even come in, I get temperature checked, and the staff is there to be able to make you feel comfortable, and I certainly felt that. And certainly Dr. Shyn has made me feel comfortable there as well. So I think you're doing the right thing. I certainly saw a big difference between, a normal pre-COVID dental practice and then the post-COVID dental practice and all the safety precautions, So the air purifiers were the biggest thing that stood out to me, along with, the N95s and the other stuff that, everyone has to wear, in the medical profession. So
I'm curious about some of the challenges that you face besides having to implement more safety procedures. What about for clients' behaviors, communication? What have been some of the challenges getting people comfortable with rescheduling their appointments and starting to meet probably what you might have experienced some pent-up demand.
Sure. I think we had two phases of challenges. The first one was during the actual, we were shut down for almost 2 months. We had that phase, and then we had the challenge of, getting everyone caught up and, scheduled after we reopened. So, during the shutdown phase, I was really focused on what's going to happen with my staff, my existing patients, and how we're going to deal with dental emergencies. And, we always kept the phone lines open, even during the shutdown. I kept in touch with my staff. We kept in touch with our patients, whether that was over the phones or through emails. And, I think we did pretty good accommodating dental emergencies during that phase. It wasn't easy, but, we don't take dental emergencies lightly. Mm-hmm. And another thing that I did during the shutdown was I actually did virtual and telephone consultations for anyone who had a dental emergency or dental question. And I even gave out my contact information to the Norcross Cooperative Ministry and even our local church. So that was a pretty cool thing. And, we didn't take a penny for that, obviously. After reopening, we expanded hours. We expanded staff. We expanded hours. And now we've been pretty much as busy as ever.
Gotcha. I'm curious. Sometimes when you go through something like that, and most people have never experienced an event like this, but you do the best you can with the information and the resources provided you, both local level, government level, etc. Looking back in hindsight, you could play armchair quarterback. Are there things you think you saw other businesses doing, or you might have considered that if you knew what you knew now, you could have done quicker, better before to kind of prepare if something were to happen in the future? Any learnings from that?
Besides, picking up more PPE before this whole...
toilet paper and PPE.
Honestly, given what we had to deal with, how all of us got blindsided, I don't know if there's a whole lot I do differently. I think our team pulled through and did a decent job in handling this.
What about the flip side? What do you think? This sometimes through things like this, it creates opportunity in multiple levels. Are there anything that you think that went right, and either during and now looking forward, what are some of the things you think might have helped both the business, your clients, your staff?
Well, I want to say that I think it's so important for people to have confidence in you, whether that's your own staff or the patients. And I'm not talking about, just dental treatment, but, during these times, they need to have confidence in you that they're safe, that you're being transparent. And a lot of these can apply, I think, to us, not just during this period, but, during all times. But right now, I think it's more important than ever. And, people having trust and confidence in me, it's not a responsibility that I take lightly.
Yeah. I think you're hitting on something really key there. When we collectively go through times like 2020, coming together as a community, both business community and the local community is really important. And it's time like that where you could actually build more trust, because people need each other and people are trying to find ways to help. And I've been so impressed what the local community has done. The schools providing food for kids, people helping with learning. I see pod groups of students now where with distant learning, people are helping each other. You're seeing drop-offs happening at neighbors' houses. But even as you think about it in your practice and so on, it's figuring out ways to communicate with folks and help continue to build the trust when people are uncomfortable. I'm curious, if somebody was really still uncomfortable with going to get health care, dental or others, any advice you have for people that might at home still be really comfortable? They may feel that they're more vulnerable than others. Is there any advice you can give to those folks? And as far as that they're trying to make that decision on seeking help and care and doing some of the things like going to their dentist, eye doctor, etc.?
It's the data is all over the place right now, and I don't think anyone really has a firm grasp on how transmissible this is and what the do's and don'ts are. But I mean, I can speak. Wear a mask, have hand sanitizer on you, and I can speak for our office, and that I mean we've taken every reasonable, feasible option there is in order to make sure you're safe inside the office. So, yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah, I think you're hitting, reminding people of that, social distance when they can, wear masks. I recently saw something where it talked about the transmission rate when both people are wearing masks drops down to single digits, 2, 3, 4, 5%, versus both people not wearing masks. And it's a hard change for people to implement. But what I know for my family and I and folks that we talk to, we're looking at the community good at this. And the sooner we can get the transmission rate down, and whatever tactics it takes, the mask, the social distancing, the hygiene, to do that allows people that may not be comfortable to go back and see their dentist, and kids to go back to school, and people to continue to live their lives and support local businesses. And so we're in a challenging environment because I know everyone isn't on the same page with that. But it's been shown as people started implementing that, you can continue to get back into normalized activity. Sure, it's awkward because you may have to wear a mask more than you like to, but I think it's so important that we try to protect folks like yourself and your staff by doing what we can as a community to lower the transmission rate so you could do and serve your clients as well as we can. So that's always something that's good to remind people of.
Long story short, we're going overboard until this thing is completely cleared out. So that keeps things simple.
It's interesting because especially in your profession versus any other, right? Pizza place that delivers pizza, you do the curbside pickup, whole different animal than even a doctor's office, a physician that's where both patients are wearing masks unless it's a temperature check, an oral temperature check, I guess. Mm-hmm. In your place, you have to feel comfortable, a patient, with opening their mouth while they're sitting on that chair to be able to do that,
Sure.
So, and
I've tried to do dentistry with a mask on it. It's when the patient has a mask on, it doesn't work out too well.
Yes, but thankful that you
innovation, right?
Yes. I'm thankful that you guys go overboard, though.
Yeah, I'm good, but not that good.
Go ahead.
Okay, Rico. Now, just curious about your thoughts on the future of dentistry. If you're thinking into the future, this will pass at some point. Do you think this will have a lasting impact in any aspect of dentistry in general, in your practice in particular?
Well, I think going forward, we're going to be more aware than ever regarding, our industry and any healthcare industry, we've been dealing with, the common flu, HIV, TB. So, this is another virus that we're dealing with. But I think after this phase, most, if not all, dental practices are going to be safer and more aware of safety guidelines than ever before. Yeah. So I think that's going to be at least one positive effect from this year.
Let me ask you, you just brought up a good point. I was at a physician's office a few weeks ago. Actually, my wife was. And, the front staff is always the first to be exposed to anything. And you brought up like TB and flu and stuff like that. Before this, I just never thought about it. If a patient walks in, who knows what they have? That's why they're there, because they're not feeling well. And they're in there because they want to find out what's wrong with them. They could have that. They could have TB. They could have the flu. They could have COVID. They could have anything, right? So changing the way I guess COVID has really helped to look at that.
I think right? It's brought on a lot more awareness across the board outside of healthcare. But, there are some rules that we've always followed, and that's to treat every patient as if they're infectious. So, like I said, I think, it's something that our industry has been dealing with. But I think, we've spent a great deal of time focusing on this, and I think, we're going to come out, more refined and more aware of these issues than ever before.
When I look around the world, other parts of the world that have dealt with viruses before, it was interesting to see when this happened, the response time to it, the people were more prepared because there's a memory. I know our children are growing up in this 2020 where wearing masks and social distancing and washing their hands is becoming a very normalized part of life. And I could see this experience will prepare us in the future if other things like this, I'm sure people will always have masks now in their house and we'll be able to start implementing it. I think people will look at cleaning hands, and which helps with the flu anyway, and so many other things, as a more regular thing that they do in their daily practice. And so sometimes these types of experiences forces us to prepare for the future, not just individually, but I'm pretty sure the government and local authorities that have protocols and they're rewriting playbooks and stockpiling certain things so that they can, if there was a surge, they can respond to it quicker. I think we were collectively, we just never thought that this would be a problem. But once you get stung by something like this, I don't know if that we could forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Having spoken to a lot of different businesses, it's really interesting to see how everyone has looked at COVID-19 through the lens of their business, their industry, and how they've all been able to succeed, maybe to pivot a little bit. I mean, in your business, it is a business, right? Healthcare. You haven't had a need to pivot. You just have had a challenge on how to progress, how to step forward through this. Whereas other businesses may have had to pivot. They may have had to change the way they do business, or even change their business entirely because they're not making it. Restaurants that are closing, restaurants that become ghost kitchens all of a sudden because, they're just doing deliveries. I don't think there are certainly restaurants open now with dining rooms, for example, but there are restaurants that are still closed dining rooms. Chick-fil-A still only does curbside and drive-through pickups. They don't do dining room. So to me, your business is way more challenging because there is no other way to do this, like you said.
Right.
You have to step right through it, and you have to find that and meet those challenges head on and do it well. Because
we can't do virtual either.
No, you can't. Right. I mean, you could do a little telehealth, like you said, but no, you can't reach through the screen, right?
But even if there's one small adjustment, the fact that people are more sensitive with symptoms, coughing and fevers and these types of self-screening at home, I suspect most people, if they knew they had a fever in 2019, they might still show up for their dental appointment. And today, that would be something that people would, even before you have to screen them, self-select and say, I'm not feeling well. Let me reschedule my appointment so I don't impact your employees and others.
Right.
And that behavior shift could help us keep healthier in general. You would argue that would have probably been the right thing to do. I remember people being road warriors and proud of showing up to work every day, whether they were sick or not. That was 1980s. That was a pride thing for people to do that. And now over the years, it started trying, wait, no, if you're sick, it's okay if you stay home, jump on your computer and protect the rest of the office. And so maybe some of that becomes a legacy of this, where people are just taking more responsibility of protecting others, because this COVID-19 gave us a very immediate instant where that was necessary. But I think hopefully that helps as we go into the future. But I know that.
Have you gone through any more? I know, the industry has conferences and such, conventions and seminars and stuff. Have you, obviously now it would be virtual, have you seen any or taken any that has helped at all?
As far as
any industry-wide
continuing education?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. I had a lot of free time for a while, so I took a lot of CE virtual courses on dentistry itself, managing COVID. But we're constantly getting bombarded with information from the CDC, World Health Organization, American Dental Association, Georgia Dental Association. So we're keeping up with those guidelines on a regular basis.
That's excellent. So I'm curious. One of the things during the time when you were closed down, I wondered if you got to play much golf during that time, or is that an activity that you can do and stay social distance?
I thought that was going to happen. There's no chance with a newborn.
Oh, you have a newborn.
Yeah. So thank you. I think golf is going to be on standby for a while.
Don't understand. Well, I wanted to at least thank you so much for joining us today. And if folks wanted to reach out and talk to you some more, and what's the best way for someone to reach you?
The best way would be by phone. That number is 770-448-1977. And our website is linkdentalcare.com. You can find it on there as well.
Oh, excellent. Well, we'll post those on the show notes. Curious, going into the fall season, and I know you're probably super busy catching up. Do you have anything going on? What do you have going on over the next several months?
Well, we're going to, my focus is to keep doing what we've been doing, what's worked for us, not just this year, but for the past several years. And I want to highlight that we are focusing on not just new patients, but also making sure that all of our existing patients are taken care of. And I also want to make sure my staff is taken care of as well. So I will continue to invest in, the patient experience. I will continue to invest in my staff and continue to be involved and give back to the local community as I have been.
Well, I just want to thank you, small business owner, helping to protect the community and serve the people here at Peachtree Corners in Gwinnett County, and the many others like yourselves that are doing that is what really continues to drive our economy, as well as really help us navigate through this. So thank you so much for all that you're doing, and we want to make sure that you're successful. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, our pleasure.
Hang in there while we sign off too. Eh?
Yep. I'd like to thank Dr. Shyn, the owner of Link Dental Care here at Peachtree Corners, sharing your experience going through 2020 and everything else that we've done. that we've been doing over this past year in the community, and just being one of those business leaders that is out there doing their part. So thank you for that. I'm Karl Barham with Transworld Business Advisor of Atlanta Peachtree. What we do every day is work with business owners to help them with either valuations on their business, helping them grow through acquisition and purchasing other businesses, or when they're ready, helping them with finding a buyer and selling their business. Transworld Business Advisor, you could reach us at www.tworld.com/Atlanta Peachtree. Office here at Atlanta Tech Park. If you want to stop by and say hi, we do see people by appointment still, but we try to keep everyone safe. Rico, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've got going on?
Sure. So I'm Rico Figliolini. I publish Peachtree Corners magazine. We do that 6 times a year. We're working on the next issue now, which should be fun. I mean, it's a Pets and Their People pull-out center spread issue. So if you got pictures of you and your pets, we're doing a giveaway starting out next week. Feel free to participate, and we'll be pulling pictures from that for that centerfold pull-out spread. We're doing an article about backyard retreats. Everyone's sort of stuck at home to a degree still. They may not be traveling. So maybe that backyard fire pit and stuff like that could be of interest. So we're exploring some other people's backyards to see how they've done theirs. And we're going to be doing something, we're going to be curating together things that people are thankful for this year. Because even with COVID-19, Karl, I think we're all thankful, certainly for our families, friends, the things that we do in life. So just want to be able to see what individuals are thankful for, maybe beyond their family and friends, and what they see as positives and thankful for. So we're going to be covering some of that. Mighty Rockets is my company. You can find me at mightyrockets.com. You can look me up on LinkedIn at Rico Figliolini. If you can spell that out, I think you'll get quite there almost. I handle companies and corporations that need social media, content work, product videos, podcast productions and such. So feel free to reach out to me. And one last thing, I just want to say thank you again to our lead sponsor, Hargray Fiber, that helps make these family of podcasts happen. So.
And what about the last Peachtree Corners magazine? It's out there. Folks should check it out.
My goodness, yes. I think I've had calls for this publication. We've mailed more copies than ever before. So we've mailed 19,700 copies on this last issue. And because of COVID, we've had to contract the amount of places that we can place this. So I have people calling me up, where can I find copies? Literally, I just can't put out enough copies. I don't have any more copies to put out. And people are still calling because they can't find the copies that we've put out. They're gone already. So I'm happy. It was a great issue. Karl, you were a good subject matter as well. You're in there. So we've covered diversity in this issue, along with health and wellness and Amberfield community, and where to eat vegetarian. It's all a lot of good stuff in here. So
excellent. And you can also find online at
living at peachtreecorners.com. If you go there, not only will you find the family of podcasts and the tabs at the top, but you'll be able to read the digital edition as well.
Fabulous. Well, Rico, continue doing what you're doing. It's great to see all these stories and learning a little bit more about our community and the people that live here, people that work here, people that play here. And in the upcoming months, we're going to see a bridge be finished and Peachtree Corners, so folks will get to go explore more parts of Peachtree Corners. So thank you, everyone. Stay tuned for the next episode of The Capitalist Sage. Take care.
This has been The Capitalist Sage with Karl Barham and Rico Figliolini, the twice-a-month podcast with entrepreneurs and business experts. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Want more? Visit our website at capitalistsagepodcast.com.